We remember the day the stars answered, the day we learned we were not alone. As a familiar sun rose on an unfamiliar universe, some of us saw wondrous possibility and others existential danger. The astronomers had insisted that the bright streak in the sky was no natural phenomenon. Most of us didn't really believe them until it burned through our atmosphere and crashed in a remote region, leaving only wreckage and uncertainty. In our ignorance, we fractured, taking refuge in our most primal emotions. Each of us saw what we wanted to see. Survival of the fittest has always been the game. Whether you're beating your enemy with a rock or a lawsuit, you have to be vicious to be the top dog. Because when you've worked for everything and you've fought for all you have, nothing will satisfy you except everything.
Hello, Monsters Abound here, and welcome to Terra Invicta. This is like a grand strategy 4X type experience with sort of an Xcom theme. If you've played Xcom The Long War, this game is done by the people who made that mod, basically. And it's great. I played this a few months ago, I think, and really enjoyed it. And I've been dying to get my hands on the full game. And this is it. It is an early access, but it's coming out later this year. I have unrestricted access to the game, so I'm going to be playing as the Initiative. They're basically the Illuminati. That's right, we're playing as arseholes. I guess... I mean, there's different factions in the game. So, for example, in the demo, we can play as a Resistance. They're like Xcom. There's Humanity First. They're like the racist Xcom. You've got the Servants. They're like Advent. I guess they want to, like, you know, suck alien tentacle or whatever. And there's a whole bunch of other factions like Cooperate. So there's a faction that wants to just cooperate with the aliens. They want to be friends. There's a faction that wants to submit to them. You know, call the aliens daddy, whatever. There's a faction that just wants to get the hell out of here. Just go somewhere else. They're like, well, fuck it, let's just leave them. So we're playing as the Initiative, like the Illuminati. So I guess I've been watching Neon Genesis Evangelion lately, and I guess they'd be like Sealy. They're basically that sort of like shadow government pulling the strings in the background. That's who we are. So while some factions are sort of more antagonistic towards the aliens, like, you know, the Resistance and Humanity First, and some of them are more sort of like friendly to the aliens, like the Servants and the Academy, we're sort of like very central. Obviously the aliens are a threat, but how can we use that to make us richer? That's the real question. So that's what we're doing. Now, this game is pretty grand in scope. I'm just going to continue that, and we'll close that for the minute. So we do have an alien crash site, a UFO crash down site in Russia. It is in Russia, yep. As you can tell there. So, obviously the aliens have crashed into the planet. They like doing that. I guess they're just terrible drivers, but never mind. So here is the entire planet Earth. All of it, all of the countries, all of the regions. So you've got, there's France there. You've got, you know, Italy. I mean, you know what the world looks like, which is fine. You've also got some stations. So some stations exist at the start of the game. You have the International Space Station there and Tiangong Station over there, already owned by the Academy and the Exodus. Those are the guys who just want to get out there. The Academy are the guys who want to cooperate with the aliens, I think. Each faction has like a different way of relating with them, and each game is slightly different depending on what faction you're playing, because you have different ways of interacting with them. Obviously, like the Resistance and Humanity First are going to be more sort of like aggressive, taking out their space stations, whereas the Servants might be diplomatic with them. Anyway, so we're sort of playing the middle ground, but we're going to zoom out on Earth here, and we can see there's Luna, there's the Moon. There we go. We zoom out a little bit further, and yeah, there's Mercury, Mars, there's the Sun. There's a bunch of various different like asteroids and shit, and Jupiter, and Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. This is the medium galaxy, not the full solar system, because apparently it can cause slowdowns in the later game. So I've gone with the medium just as like a happy medium. So that's fine. Anyway, to start off with, we're mostly going to be confined to Earth. And the way we sort of interact with the game is with our counsellors. Now, the counsellors are sort of agents that we send to do our dirty work for us. So it's kind of like phases in the game. So if I start the game up, we should hit, there we go, the assignment phase. So the assignment phase is where we get our counsellors and our agents to go and do stuff for us. And then until the next assignment phase, that's what they're doing. And then the assignment phase hits, we give them new orders, they go off and do that. Otherwise, it is real time, but we need to obviously confirm our assignments first. So, our counsellors, we get 2 at the start of the game, and it's completely random, so let's have a look at what we've got here. We have Dewey Walter, a diplomat. Not a bad start. So, each counsellor will have attributes, monthly income, missions, organisations, and traits. You can also augment them and sort of like give them additional skills or traits, or remove bad traits. And you can also upgrade them with, oh, hello there, with organisations, which are very, very strong. So your attributes are things like persuasion, investigation, espionage, command, administration, science, security, and apparent loyalty. Each of these is used to determine how successful you are going to be at certain actions, or how good you are at defending against aggressive actions. So that comes into play with the missions. So each of your counsellors has a different sort of list of missions they can do. So it's not always going to, not every counsellor can do the same thing effectively. So Dewey here has control nation, so he can take control of a control point in a country. Defend interests, so he can defend them. He can set national policy, so we can, if we control a country's executive, we can get them to do different things. We can advise, that's like boost a country, stabilize nation, make it calmer. Survey location, keep an eye out for various things. Turn counsellor, so we can potentially turn enemy counsellor to our side. Go to ground if they've been discovered. Contact, we can contact another counsellor, like an enemy counsellor, and do deals with them. And some various other things there, including investigate alien activity as well, which is what we're going to want to do on the alien spacecraft, or the crash site anyway. His stats, he's pretty average. His persuasion is okay. As a diplomat, you would hope his persuasion would be better, but his stats are just generally average across the board, so it's okay. He is losing us some money every month. His traits are that he's a government official. Now, what that means is that he gets access to some organisations that you wouldn't necessarily get access to. But we'll get to organisations in a minute. Transparent, so we can always see his loyalty. So he's currently set to 6. The maximum is 25, so 6 isn't particularly great. Undercover, he gets +1 espionage when being detected by enemy counsellors, so he's better at staying undercover. He's an addict, which means he gets -1 espionage. Basically, addicts and undercover just like cancel each other out. But he gets -2 security and -4 when we have no money. And he's also a veteran, so he gets a little bit of command, a little bit of security, and 2% military science research. So overall, he is okay. Like he's nothing amazing, but he's not horrendous, so he's fine. We've also got Norina Suzox, who's a tech mogul from Budapest, Hungary, and she's got very good persuasion actually. Holy shit, she's a billionaire. It makes up for our addict. Jesus. So she's making loads of money. We were losing one on the other guy. She's making 42.4 every month, which is insane. But then we are the Illuminati, so makes sense. Influence is 10.6, which is great. And she gets 5.3 research as well. So she is actually very, very good. She has excellent administration, excellent science. Command is fine. Espionage is okay. Investigation is fine. Persuasion 6. Pretty good. She's got apparent loyalty of 13. So we can't see exactly what her loyalty is, but we think it's around 13. We do have an agent action which we can use to investigate our own agents to find out what their loyalty actually is. So she is a billionaire, which means she gets 40 monthly income and 2 influence, but -1 is because obviously she's going to be fairly famous. And she actually gets less persuasion in countries where the what's that? The equality is 4 or less. So obviously, poorer countries are not going to like it very much, I guess. Eminence gets monthly income, but she's very easy to spot for enemy councillors, so she's going to be quite vulnerable. She's an expert, which means she gets a little bit of monthly income there. Again, she gets -1. So Norina here is basically very easy for anyone to spot. She's not going to be able to hide very well. And +1 persuasion if nations have used nuclear weapons during this campaign due to being apocalyptic. So she's fun. Now, organizations. So organizations are very, very powerful. They restock every month, and they all have different sorts of abilities and bonuses they give you. So, for example, if we have a look at the American Mafia. So, headquartered in New York's region, councillor must have these traits: criminal. So, unless the councillor has the criminal trait, they won't be able to equip the American Mafia. You also must have a control point in the United States or a councillor from there. However, if you are able to purchase it, it costs 120 income, 120 influence, and 10 ops. But if you do acquire it and equip it onto one of your councillors, they will get an extra 50 monthly income, +1 influence, and +1 ops. They'll also gain the ability to assassinate and hostile takeover. Now, the number of organizations you can equip is based on your org capacity. So currently ours is 0 of 6. It's based on your administration. Basically, it's the same as your administration. Now, luckily, both of our guys have pretty good administration. Each organization will cost the same org capacity as the number of stars it has associated with it. So the American Mafia would cost 3. So if we were able to equip it to Norina here, it would cost half of our current org capacity. You can only have 15 organizations equipped at any one time. So, we could, for example, purchase the East Garden Genetics. Now, that's going to give us +15 income, +7 science, and 1 weird purple thing, whatever the fuck that is. I'm not entirely sure. So we're going to pick that up. I don't know if it's a good idea to put it on. I think we might put it on Dewey here. And the reason I say I'm going to do that is because he'll stay undercover better, whereas Norina is she's going to be spotted almost immediately, and I don't think we're going to be able to hide her. To be honest, I think she's always going to be visible to everyone because she's just so fucking obvious. So that's kind of a problem, but you know, that's fine. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Anyway, so we can have up to 8 councillors at any one time, and we could potentially recruit another one. So we do have like another persuasion 8s. Ooh, you're potentially a good one to have. Yeah, I would like you, actually. What do you do? Control nation. You don't have many missions, which is the only problem. What else do we have? We've got an evangelist. You're also 8s. Control nation. Public campaign. You're looking pretty useful. No science, but good administration, which is what we're looking for. Stabilization is based on command. Your command's not bad. Public campaign. I mean, you would be useful for just grabbing stuff. You can also inspire, so that could be quite useful. We've also got a rebel here. You're a sociopath, which sounds bad, but actually could be quite useful if we find some like terrorist organizations that we could then equip. So you have good stats across the board. You're actually not too bad. I'm kind of tempted by you. Also, you've got ops, and getting ops early on is quite tricky. So I'm kind of tempted to say let's grab you too, because you're just generally a good across the board. Oh yeah, let's get Niddy. Niddy, you're in. Okay, so that's our crew currently. We can recruit more, but we don't currently have the influence. So, first things first, we're going to grab Kazakhstan. And you're probably going, interesting shout. And yes, it is. But the reason we're going to do that is because, 1, it's pretty easy to take. And 2, We don't really want Dewey
Reporting
doing that,
in.
do we? We want...
Where to? Standing by for orders.
How good are you going to be here? 20%. Great. We could do some public campaigns to boost. So we do like a 20. Let's do like it's a 62% chance. So we're going to do a public campaign. A public campaign will increase public opinion of our faction. That increases our chance to control a control node in that country. And a control node is one of these. So, countries have different numbers of them. So Kazakhstan has 2. So control point is the first control point, oligarchs. Now if we take that, then that will give us bonuses to our income, our science, our lift capacity, all that kind of stuff. And the reason I want Kazakhstan is because it has the Cosmodrome here. And what that means is that's going to give us boost. Now boost is what we use, is a resource we spend to get things into orbit. And that is not useful at the start of the game, but it will come into its own later on. So we definitely want to grab that. So I don't think we're going to have now.
Ready
do you
for
have
orders.
Better oh, you can't control point, can you? Okay, we're going to send Nidhi to investigate the alien activity. She's going to go and prod some aliens.
Reporting in.
We're going to send Dewey to try and control a point here. You've got a 26% chance. So if we whack that up, if we use 8 influence to take that to 65%.
Establishing our presence.
It's not great,
Where do
but
you
it's
need
fine. And we can do a public campaign there, and we can spend like, I don't know, if we spend 20.
We must persuade the people.
So we go. We'll start with that. We'll confirm our assignments, and we will increase the speed. So there we go. Off we go. So at the start of the game, council missions will happen, I think it's every week or so. And then eventually it's every month. One humanity, the growing realization that we are not the sole sapient species in the universe is causing many to see their fellow humans in a new light, leading to hopes that we can overcome our capacity for strife to address the alien arrival as one people. Let us set aside our differences and go forward together. So it's an event unlocks a wave of fear, triggers the following effects. All nations gain 1 cohesion.
Public opinion remains unmoved.
Right, you fucked that, didn't you? Critical failure, which means that our public support, is bad, and you've been spotted, which is not a massive surprise because I say you're really fucking obvious. There's no way in hell you're ever going to be able to hide yourself. So we may now recruit our faction's management team. As we stand up initiative operations, we are selecting our internal management team to help oversee our affairs. While we are gathering personnel from a variety of disciplines, at your direction we'll emphasise a particular speciality. So we can go with lobbyists and influencers. That will increase our monthly influence score. We can go with scientists and engineers, and that will increase our monthly research income by 50. Officers and operators, which increase our ops income by 3, and financiers and investors, which increase our money. Now, I'm going to go for officers and operators because ops income is actually pretty hard to come by. So grabbing that early. Okay, good. So if we learn some information, receives a small bonus to our xenology research going forward. So we've completed the investigate alien crash objective. We have successfully gathered some samples of the crash site and are ready to investigate further. Numerous other groups are attempting to take control of the site in the meantime. Heavy competition seems likely. We've gained 20 influence and 20 research. And we've got a new objective, research alien signatures. Small quantity of debris we have gathered from the crash site is ready for analysis. We should also investigate the question of what happened to the ship's crew. So that's fine, we can continue that. And now we've got some new research projects, so we can go to the research screen. So we have global research, and this is all of the organizations are putting their research into that particular tech, effectively. And whoever puts the most tech in, or the most research into it, will be able to pick the next tech that gets researched. So currently we're not doing anything. We've got all of our research into our council engineering project. So this is what we're researching. So we can change this project to the alien signatures, and we can select that project. So we are just going to boost that. We get a little bit of bonus to our xenology because of our investigation into the alien activity that we just did. So that's fine. And we can just tick that along.
Is growing.
So we've gained a control point in Kazakhstan, which is fantastic. So we have a look at Kazakhstan. You can see that our icon is now there on the oligarchs, which means we now control that node, which means we're going to get all of these bonuses. So extra research, extra boost, extra money. And we also get a bonus to coup d'etat missions in the nation, which is nice. Now, all of the nodes we take will increase our capacity. So we currently have a capacity of 190. We're using 8 from holding one of these nodes. Each node will cost more, so you can see cost against the cap is 7.88. Once we hit the cap, any additional costs we take over that will then reduce our influence. So we need to be careful about that. However, we can increase the cap through technology. So it's not a hard cap, and we can go beyond it if we want to. Some countries have more control nodes than others. So, for example, the United States of America is a pain in the ass to try and conquer, in the state of trying to control it. And it's got 6 nodes, which I think is the most. Canada has 3. Some countries only have 1. So I think that there we go. Upper Guinea's only got 1. The big countries are really China. China has 6. India has 5 there, and the US has 6. A bunch of other countries have 3. So I think England's got 4, France has got 4, Germany's got 4, and then the ones nearby have got 3 or 4 or 2. But what you can do is merge countries together. So like the European Union exists in the game, and you can see that, European Union there, European Union there. Now what that means is that you can band countries together. Is England part of the European Union? Of course it's not. But does it have a... Yes. So there is a claim from the European Union on England. Now what that means is that, say for example, you got control of all of the United Kingdom and all of France. What you could do then is you could send one of your agents to do a set national policy on England and get them to join the European Union. That would then take France and England and merge them into one country with the same control points, effectively halving the amount of control points that you own. But you would still get all of the bonuses. The bonuses would be merged together. So for example, if you had 100 science spread across France and England, so 50 in England, 50 in France. If you merge those 2 countries together, you get 100 science. So you're not losing anything from doing that, apart from the control points. It makes them easier to defend, potentially easier to lose, but also means that it's not counting towards the cap anymore. There's a bunch of these sort of super countries that you can build. For example, Russia has the Eurasian Union, so a bunch of countries nearby have claims on them. So if you control them, you can then merge them together. There's also, later in the tech tree, you can get even bigger ones. You get like the American Alliance, I think it's something, where you could literally merge the entire American continent together. Quite a tough job. Quite tough to hold together, but if you do, much easier to actually sort of keep hold of those control points. So that is potentially an option. So if we look at Kazakhstan, we can see it's part of the Eurasian Union. So first I want to take Kazakhstan, and then I take Russia. So that's the plan. So we are going to try and...
At your service.
Dewey, can you just... Do we do that 73? I think that's a fairly good chance to
Bringing them on board.
So do that.
Ready.
You can do a public campaign here. Try and
I will
get
tell
them on
our story.
sides.
Where do you need me?
You can't really do very much at the moment. So I'm just going to say survey that location. And we will confirm. UN Security Council meets. The UN Security Council has met to discuss the alien arrival. Unfortunately, the hoped-for show of international unity did not materialise, with China, Russia and the United States accusing each other of hiding knowledge about the alien crash and preventing full access to the site. We have an opportunity to shape events to our advantage, even make our case directly to the nations of the world. However, with the eyes of the world on these meetings, our council's risk of exposure to our enemies is extremely high. So we can remain in the shadows, we can quietly steer support to the initiative. We will gain a smaller public opinion boost, but information about the initiative will be exposed to our enemies. Alternatively, we can just go, yep, this is us, we want all the stuff. I'm going to quietly... That sounds more like the initiative, right? Quietly steer support.
They are not life forms or xenosapiens. They are demons incarnate. They and the traitors who support them will face our judgment.
So, this is Humanity First. Now, some of the factions... All the factions will get an event. The factions that we meet are going to be the ones that basically go, this is our manifesto. So, we've met Humanity First.
Initiating surveillance.
The only ones that did it. So, surveying location, which is fine. Now we're going to see how these other two events pan
Our
out.
cause is unjustified to them.
Ugh, you suck.
It has
Come on.
always been true that
Hello.
we must leave the cradle if our species is to survive. If these aliens are indeed hostile, the time to go is now.
So this is Project Exodus. They just want to be out of here. So, no particular threat to us. We have found an enemy councillor in Kazakhstan. Okay, so this is Project Exodus. So they're here as well. They might be after the boosts. Nambia is acting as council for one of the synchronized form to address the alien arrival. We may send one. Okay, so that we've noticed there's someone down here, but we don't know who that is. So we could send one of our councillors to go and investigate. But we've gained control of Kazakhstan. So we have 2 of 2 control points, which means we now effectively own the country. So what that means is that we are getting a nice big boost. So our annual income is 3.1, which is very nice. We also get a bunch of extra money. So you can see we get 0.057 from nations. And where's that? Do we get? Oh, we get 1.5 from public opinion. Yeah. So when you own a country, when you have the executive under your control, you get certain bonuses. So we get access to the set policy mission on this nation. So we can basically tell Kazakhstan what to do now. We can see what options we would have by looking at the national policies. So there are no policies available right now, but you can see the cooldown for alliances, federations, and unification. So what that means is that come the 25th of September 2023, if we control Russia and Kazakhstan, we can merge them into the Eurasian Union, along with any other countries we control that have claims from the Eurasian Union. So we want to try and take control of Russia now, which is going to be, well, easier said than done. However, what we can potentially do is recruit someone else. So I really want someone with like good persuasion. True administration 5, not bad. Opinion leader, okay, that's not bad. You have excellent persuasion. You've got control nation and public campaign. I think Trisha here is a potential. We've also got Yakito, who is a celebrity. He's an oligarch. He's a media darling. He's prosperous. Who do I like more? So you've got public campaign control. You don't have as many options. Who we were looking at? Trisha here. So you have control nation and public campaign. You've also got crackdown, which I think is investigation, which you're not particularly good at. You do have inspire though, which is very good. Does anyone else have inspire? No, I think you are probably actually a really good shout. So where's Trisha? There you are. So we're going to get you in here. You've got excellent persuasion, so yes, we're going to recruit you in here. And then what we're going to do is
Ready.
Trisha. we need a public campaign. 60%. That's so much better than we had. It's like ludicrously better. What about just? I mean, I'm tempted to just fucking go for it. It's 56%. It's not great, but we could I mean, it's like half of our influence. You know what? Let's do some. Let's get them on side, right? Let's do some public
We
campaign.
must persuade the
76%.
people.
Ready for
Isn't
orders.
bad. We could try and stabilize Kazakhstan here.
We'll turn down the heat.
Ready for
We
my mission.
can do a public campaign. You've only got 23% chance. You can boost that to almost
I would
50.
try to sway the public.
Standing by.
And I could try and assassinate you, but that's only a 2% chance. Plus, you know, we might not want to assassinate them, to be honest. I just don't know what else you can do. You can purge. It's not really that useful. I guess we could contact them, see if we get a non-aggression pact.
Establishing contact.
We
'Cause
must
to be
not
honest-
only defend human lives from the aliens, we must ensure those lives remain worth living.
Yeah, so this is basically XCOM.
Making
'Cause-
contact.
Yeah, so
If you
the
wish to
Project
spend your
Exodus,
days squabbling over resources, so be it.
that's the plan. So we could potentially... Oh, can we not have an non-aggression pact? Seriously? You can see what organisation... You've got ISIS Surveillance and Artemis Consulting, but nothing else. Maybe we need tech to do non-aggression pacts? Okay, well, at the moment, you know, we'll just leave each other alone, I guess. No harm in that.
Things are stabilizing.
We are winning their hearts and minds.
Okay, so we've increased our public opinion, which is great. And we've got the project complete, so we've completed the alien signatures objective. There is no doubt extraterrestrial life has touched down on Earth. The many questions we have regarding its origin, its species, and its intent will have to wait. All that matters now is finding it. By cross-referencing reports of unusual events in the vicinity of the landing site, with similar data of our global intelligence network, we have developed a tracking system able to reliably identify disappearances most likely resulting from alien activity. So we can detect alien abductions on Earth now. So if that event happens, and there is an alien player, so the alien player will basically do events. They will be doing missions the same way we do, and if they do it, we can now see abductions. So, we have completed the research alien signatures objective. Satellite footage and interviews of local personnel have confirmed that at least one of the ship's crew survived the crash and disappeared into the surrounding wilderness. Our research of the debris has also confirmed the ship was not assembled on Earth. Putting these two things together leads to one inescapable conclusion. An alien is at large upon our planet, a statement that sounds more appropriate for popular entertainment than for an agenda of the World Economic Council. Further investigation has turned up reports of disappearances in nearby settlements. This raises troubling questions. What are the aliens doing here? And given that they have now only detected their presence, how long have they been acting while we've been unaware? So we've got a new objection. Investigate alien abductions, which we can do, and research the alien origin. And salvage alien technology. Alright, one thing at a time. Jesus Christ. You can see the tech tree here, which is pretty beefy. Lots of stuff there to do. So we're going to continue with. Let's do. Oh, you know what? I could actually use more influence. Fuck it, I'll do that. Okay, we're not going to help these at the moment because I'm just not interested in doing it. It doesn't really
Our
matter this
case
early on.
remains unheard.
Oh God! You seriously need to get more persuasion, love. You are terrible. I mean, Christ, you're loaded. You should just be able to give them money and they should love you. Okay, so we can see that our public opinion is not bad, and that is going to increase
Your
our
orders?
ability to get them
What's
on
the,
side. Wait, where are you from? Budapest. Just out of interest. So let's do a public campaign. Do we want to spend 80? Tell you what we should actually do is check organisations. Do we have any organisations? No. Some organisations you need particular traits for. So I can't equip any of these at the moment, and plus I don't have the resources to acquire them. They do switch every month, I think. So it's a good idea to keep an eye on it. We will now, Trisha.
Where to?
You are our best girl. So, can you acquire a control point? It's a 60%
Bringing
chance.
them on board.
I like them. I like
Acknowledged.
them odds.
Ready to go.
Do a public campaign there.
Ready.
See how that goes. Dewey,
Ready to go.
you've got a 10% chance. We could boost that up to 22. You know what? It's
Taking
worth
control.
a punt. It's worth a punt.
Your orders?
And I mean, again, not really much you can do at the moment. It'll probably be useful later on. We could always just survey this location. We know
Surveilling
there was
target area.
there was a crash. Was it there? Or somewhere around there. It's fine. We'll keep an eye out.
Setting a watch.
We're winning their hearts and minds.
Finally! Actually, that was a fairly big jump, up to 10%, which is good. Now, what that will do is actually increase the success
Laying
chance
groundwork.
of Dewey and
Laying
Trisha.
the
Because
groundwork.
Trisha's now at 71% because we increased our public opinion. That makes it easier to get control points there.
We were unable to establish control.
Regrettably, no such luck. 70% chance, we rolled an 81%, so not that far out.
We were unable to establish control.
Oh, critical failure. Public opinion dropped a small amount. Oof. Never mind. We're just going to keep smashing our head against that one, I think.
We'll bring this nation to our side.
That's the
I'm here.
plan. Okay, let's do a 31%
We'll bring this nation to our
chance.
side.
At your service.
Let's continue the public. How much money do we have?
Making our case.
Standing by for orders.
Let's just check we don't have any organisations. Nope, that's fine. And again, you are just going to survey
On
that one.
Overwatch.
We believe we can
hello?
join them as brothers and sisters. If we only convince them we are worthy.
Right, so the Academy is the faction that thinks we could be friends with the aliens.
Initiating recon.
Maybe? Each of the factions has a win objective based
We
around
hold
what
no
they
sway
believe.
in their minds.
Never mind. We may be able to capture the control points anyway. Ah, alien fleet detected. We can take us there. We can actually see. So there is the alien ship, the Iron Resolve, apparently. So this one is basically like a transport. That's all it is, basically. Later on, of course, you will get combat ships, and this is where the tactical combat comes in, because there is ship combat in this game. You can build your own ships and fight the alien menace.
We have gained significant support.
Perfect. We now control our control points.
We failed to take control.
Never mind. Select advisory team. So this national investment points to objective welfare. We're going to go for economic development, I think. So countries have priorities, and as you can see, currently Russia has increased in monthly investment points. Is that right? To be honest, I'm not 100% sure how this all works. And we've also got like what the target of the country is effectively. So we have investment points that we can pump into it, and the way we want to interact with the country may be different from the way they want. So, for example, Russia, what's this? You can see here. This is the security apparatus. So, the security apparatus is focusing on economy, on the military, and building an army and building a navy. I think this is executive. Yeah. Is based on the military, spoils, build army, build navy. So each of these different categories has different effects on the country as a whole. So for example, mission control. The more stuff you're pumping into mission control increases I guess that's investment points. I guess monthly. Yeah, so these are monthly investment points. So that's increasing the total number of investment points, and also the number of control hubs you have. So these control points here, mission controls. Mission controls is how many ships and space stations and stuff you can actually control at any one time. So each time this number hits the total, it increases. So for example, if you stack build army, the monthly investment points will increase depending on how much percentage is aimed at that. For example, if you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if you had like 120 investment points and all of this was 10%, they'd each get 12 investment points. 10% of them, basically. So that means that, so currently they're getting 70% of the 11.5 investment points, which means each month it increases by that amount. Once it hits 60, in the case of the army, it'll build a new army. Does that make sense? I think that's how it works. So, when you take control of a control point, you set it using your current template. There's a bunch of other templates, different. They're different factions stamp different dots on they have a different template. So as the Illuminati, we don't give a shit about welfare or unity. Fuck that. We're not particularly interested in armies or navies either. We're slightly interested in nuclear weapons, but mostly what we want is funding, boosts, mission controls, because that way we can exploit the solar system, right? Also, spoils. So spoils is how much money you basically suck out of the economy for yourself. So obviously we boost the shit out of that. And the military a little bit. I'm not actually sure what the military does. Increase mil tech. So, as you can see, Russia currently has a bunch of armies here. As we take control of the control points, we will gain control of those armies. If you control a country and it builds another army, you get control of that army, so on and so forth. You can also build nuclear weapons, which Russia has. These vehicles, these tanks here, can be upgraded. There's like 8 levels of military tech, and obviously if you have a tech higher than someone else, then your army is going to work better against them, that kind of thing. So that's what mil tech is. I think that's based on the mil tech for that faction, or that country's armies, I think. But again, maybe. So we're going to concentrate on grabbing this. So
establishing our presence.
Ready for my mission.
Let's do control
Bringing them to our side.
Ready for orders.
Continue trying doing the public campaign. 66%.
We'll make our appeal.
66% chance. You've got this. I believe in you. Just checking the organisations. That's fine. And we will just survey.
On Overwatch.
Oh, it's actually a... Tell you what. Go over there.
Eyes up.
Someone stooping around Kazakhstan.
Initiating surveillance.
No, bug it off. But still.
The trick is not to look directly at what you are trying to see. Offset your focal point somewhere to the side of where you think you notice the movement. At night, the center of your vision doesn't work as well as during the day. I won't try to explain the science to you. What matters is you'll see whatever is out there before they see you. Colonel Hans Castillo, advising conscripts in Colombia.
What I love about this game is that they've got the tech readout from like Civilization, but it feels a lot more like Alpha Centauri to me, if that makes sense. Which I love. I get goosebumps. Anyway, so we've got global research complete. So we have the span of time humanity has spent in space is dwarf the span of time humanity has been interested in it. Earliest records of the telescope date to the turn of the 17th century, with regular advancements made every century thereafter. It therefore follows that on the shoulders of programs such as SETI, we consolidate our resources into a unified observation and surveillance program, so we can maintain active, constant surveillance on the nearer parts of the solar system. So this allows all factions to track alien vessels and structures that are inside the orbit of Saturn, and immediately reveals all alien vessels and habitats within our detection range. The following technologies may now be researched. Deep System Skywatch.
The Surat al-Baqarah teaches that in the creation of heaven and earth, a wise people may find the signs of Allah. Let us heed those words and join together as we take our search into the stars. Director Khalid al-Ashgar, from his khutbah at the first conclave of Muslim astrophysicists.
So, existing in in space is a different animal than merely traversing it. If we plan to go from tourist to resident, we must adapt. Logistics require resupply missions planned months in advance, while engineering must cope with long-term exposure to solar radiation and the rigours of equipment maintenance in a vacuum. Likewise, our psychologists must develop a training regime, so personnel are able to maintain peak performance in an environment where up and down do not exist. We have, of course, been able to travel into space for some time, but now we must establish how to do so easily, regularly, and cost-effectively, and in far greater numbers than ever before. This renewed mission to space thus entails a mission to change many of our most fundamental preconceptions, yet all of these hardships are entirely necessary, for only once we are compatible beyond Earth's orbit can we hope to explore, exploit, and ultimately even settle upon neighbouring worlds, and in time, perhaps far beyond. So we can now research deep space propulsion concepts, orbital shipbuilding, and outpost HABs. So there we go. Exciting times.
We've moved the needle.
Oh, thank God for that. Right, it stands at 37%. Nice, a nice big boost there. Look at look at that big orange.
We are
thing.
taking over.
Gained another one.
We still lack support.
Oh, never mind. So we have completed orders, so we get a little bit more influence, which is probably quite useful at the moment. Now, we don't actually have any text to research at the moment, so what I might do is actually, we will boost, we'll go management. So management research is a way we can increase our capacity to manage control points. But what we're actually going to do, I didn't actually click it. Select project. So we're going to actually increase HAB outposts. In fact, we're going to do something like that. We're going to stop this for the moment. In fact, we're going to boot. Well, it doesn't matter because we're not spreading our blips. So technically, one blip is 100% because we don't have blips anywhere else. I think that's fine. So we're going to contribute as much as possible to this one. Okay, so we've gained control of the 20th Guards Army. So this army, this one here, so it's got a little icon on it, which means we can now control it. So we can actually tell it to deploy. Now, currently we are at war with the Ukraine, and we want to gain control of all three of those armies and then annex Ukraine, because that will then, give us that resource and all that good stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue to just try and grab this.
I'm here.
Do we have new organizations? We do. Do we have a new organization that we can grab? No. Never mind. We've got some experience now, so 9, 8, 7. Once we get to, is it 20? Yeah, 20 experience. We can also get, we could remove addict as a trait, which might be quite useful. We can also gain traits like affluent, connected. At this point, whacking everything into persuasion and administration is probably the best option, because later on you'll be acquiring those organizations and you really want to sort of just beef them up as much as possible.
Service.
And it's the best way to increase the stats of your councillors is to basically just whack organizations on them. Trisha, we're going to doesn't really make much difference, does it? But we
Putting our people in place.
Where to?
I'm going to boost you up to 66%.
Standing by.
And what's the success chance there? It's not great, but you know what?
Establishing control.
Give it
Ready to go.
a punt. Give it a little punt.
Setting a watch.
Niddy, not that useful at the moment, but she's such a good character that leveling her up now will be useful later on. Oh, our adversaries have conducted a crackdown on oligarch's control point in Kazakhstan, so they've kind of weakened that. They could potentially try and purge
We still
that
lack
control
support.
point.
We failed to take control.
Oh, what, 3
We were
failures,
unable
really?
to establish control.
So we've got an alien ship currently in orbit. So it's the Iron Results. This is the one we spotted earlier. So it's currently in orbit around. Can we see? Yeah. So I think that's the aliens. Can we see HABs? I don't think we can see the alien HABs yet. They are out there somewhere. But at some point, that ship is probably going to crash into the Earth. There we go. So what we can do is we can send you to investigate
We'll see
that
what
alien
we can
activity.
find.
Now, a
Reporting in.
crackdown on a node doesn't do damage to it, but they will be able to purge it more easily if they so want to. Oh, are you moving into there again? All right, let's go and help. So we'll go and deploy. So it looks like these armies are moving back into eastern Ukraine, so we'll send our boys in as well.
Standing by for orders.
We can...
We'll be running this place in no time.
What's the op?
I'm just going to... 56
We'll be running this place in no time.
Your orders?
Let's do...
I will tell our story.
Let's do that. No organizations, but everyone's leveling up, which is exactly what we want. We've managed to take control of the entirety of Russia. So we now control Russia, effectively. We now control Russia. So all of the resources of Russia are now pouring into it. We have control of the country. And what this means is also that we can control all of the armies. So we're attacking the Ukraine. The bar here is how occupied it is. Our armies will take damage from defensive force. So as the occupation increases, our forces will take damage. So what we want to do is take this, go back into our territory, repair, and then come back in to finish off Western Ukraine. At that point, we'll annex it and it'll become part of Russia. So basically, these two regions here will be part of Russia, which is good. So we've taken control of all of the nodes, and we're doing all of this stuff here. We can actually do direct investment. So if we do actually want to increase the investment, we can do that if we want to, but obviously at the moment we don't have the money. So I guess our next target... So what do we want our next target to be? Well, a bunch of these countries around here, I mean, they're not very rich, but we can eventually, merge them into Russia. So I'm thinking what we probably want to do is something like that. Plus, they should be much easier to take. So, for example, you can see 85% success chance to take
Bringing them to our side.
Much easier.
What's the op?
We did get the whatchamacallit, the alien thing. Nothing really happens when you... It's kind of like a mission in Xcom. You kind of go there, complete the mission, bring the stuff back. There's no current research that we can do to help that. It just increases our xenology research a little bit. But potentially they could be up to stuff down here. So I'm just going to survey this location and see if we can spot anything going on.
I'm here.
We could always inspire, but to be honest, I think grabbing some of these locations is better.
Establishing
So we'll grab
control.
that one. And
Ready.
we'll grab that one because it's 88% chance. So we've already gained control of Belarus, and the Baltic states are pretty
Taking
much
control.
going to be pretty. They're going to be pretty.
Where do you need me?
What do we want? Is there any other region? I think there's regions down here. So it looks like Georgia is under the control of humanity first. So
At your
Nidhi,
service.
can you? You've got an 8% chance to purge that, which isn't great. Could use a little bit more influence. What we could actually try and do is increase unrest.
The people will rise.
And then we could do a coup,
Standing
and that will
by
basically
for orders.
clear out the control points, make them neutral again. So we could try and do that. Where else do we want to go? We could... Armenia, Azerbaijan.
Putting our people in place.
Let's grab
here.
that one.
Taking control.
I think both of these only... Oh, that's got 2. That's only got 1, though. Looks like humanity first are trying to grab this, but I think we're going to grab it first. And the special military operation is going fine this time. As you can see, our tanks are taking a little bit of damage. I don't know why they're going there.
The dreamer in me wants to believe it would bring a golden age of advancement and prosperity for all mankind. But I'm a realist. I know better. Any race advanced enough to find us would be advanced enough to end us, likely without even regarding us. Commander Fiona Ayawade, NATO Symposium on First Contact.
Quiet assurances that humans have carried for so long is gone. The knowledge that we share the universe with at least one other sapient species has caused reverberations throughout our entire society. The very fabric of our civilization is being stretched to its breaking point as conflicting voices shout ever louder above one another. It falls to our leaders, current and future, to rally our thrilled and frightened masses. Now more than ever, we must come together as a people and prove to the universe that although we may no longer be its centre as we once believed, we are no less important. So, following project, we've got clandestine cells. That will unlock another council slot for us, which would be nice. And of course, much more text, which is fine. Now, I don't really want you there.
Their government remains stable.
No, rubbish. Didn't fuck them up.
We've got our people in place.
Good job.
We're taking over.
Good. Thank you. Right. Hang on. Oh, you're trying to purge.
Our supporters are in place.
Little shits. Okay. Hang on. Right. Let's deploy our armies there. Right. You go there. Interesting they tried that. So. Wow. People trying to purge me. You son of a bitch.
Ready for my mission.
I want to find out who's over there.
Initiating surveillance. Ready to go.
What is your investigation score, madam? Oh, only 2. That's probably why you're not doing very well. Never mind. It's fine. It's fine. If we lose it, we'll just have to retake it, won't we? Don't really know. Could I do a coup there? It's only a 5% chance. I guess just keep trying to increase unrest.
Ready for orders.
I'm going to try and inspire. What's your law? Yours approach 16, 13, 6. Let's try and inspire you.
Standing by.
And we will try and
running
capture
this place in no time.
Acknowledged.
that. Oh, what are you doing? We've already got that. Could try and grab that. Probably not worth it. Could try and grab this. It is.
We'll bring this nation to our side.
Is we're just.
They
sort
are
of
here to cleanse our sick world. The aliens are our saviors, and all who oppose them are enemies of the future.
Okay, so these are tentacle suckers.
I don't think I changed their mind.
No, rubbish. Wartime atrocity. Oh no, the government of Russia has been implicated in war crimes against Ukraine. Unheard of! Damage already done, but we can... regrettable and entirely preventable tragedy. Oh, the initiative commits an atrocity. No. It's just the one atrocity, actually.
Death
Probably.
to tyrants.
Okay, so we've managed to increase the unrest, which means that our coup attempt will be...
We've got our people in place.
better. We've captured Azerbaijan.
We've got our people in place.
And Turkmenistan. You're really trying to purge, aren't you? You're really trying to do a purge. Please stop trying to purge me. You sons of bitches.
Bringing them on board.
We'll see who purges who.
Ready for my mission.
So we can see our military here is pretty fucked up. And we're only 30% or 38% occupied. So what? Okay. What?
Your
what
orders?
If? What if? Could? Oh, the servants control that.
Your orders?
What if we try and purge? Not great. Not a great, and we can see why. So, difficulty is 6. Council administration is 0.8. Size of national economy is 7. Difference in ideology is 5.7. Control points in rivals is 0.7. So, if we were to increase our public opinion, that would be better. But to be honest, it's probably easy just to conquer it. At this moment in time, to be honest.